Hello, my name is Annette Wszelaki, and I am the Commercial Vegetable Extension Specialist in the Department of Plant Sciences at the University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture. And I want to thank you for joining us for this Organic Crops virtual field tour. Today I'm going to talk to you about our Squash Hunger Kabocha variety trial. If you're not familiar with kabocha squash, it's often called Japanese pumpkin as well. It was introduced in Japan in the 16th century by Portuguese sailors who brought it with them from Cambodia. Japanese farmers and breeders soon began selecting varieties for their smaller fruit size, early maturity, nice sweet flavor, dry texture, and their long storage life. We're conducting this trial in 8 different states: Tennessee, Louisiana, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Georgia, Utah, and West Virginia. We grew our trial on landscape fabric, and we did that both for weed control and to increase our fruit quality by avoiding contact with the soil and reducing decay later on in storage. We used staples to keep the fabric in place so it wouldn't blow away, and then we used a wooden template for burning holes so that we can reuse the fabric year after year with crops of the same spacing. We direct seeded the trial on June 19th, and then we harvested on September 3rd after 76 days. This is our field the day of harvest, and you can tell those vines really spread out, but you can also tell we have a lot of missing plants in the field. And that was due to this disease, Fusarium crown and root rot. The inoculum for Fusarium can come either from the soil and or the seed. And the inoculum from the soil is going to come from previously infected plants that were tilled into that soil. From the seed, Fusarium can be internally or externally seed-borne, and it can remain viable in that seed for 1 to 2 years. Generally, the first symptoms of Fusarium you'll see is a wilted plant, but that can be caused by many different things, so you'll need to examine more closely. And when you look at that soil line, you'll see on the plant that it's browning on the stem and drying out. And if you give that plant a tug, it's generally going to give way because the root system isn't very strong. If you cut that stem open, you'll see that it's hollow. And as the disease progresses, those plants will just blow right off their roots because they're no longer attached. Fusarium crown and root rot occurs sporadically in most cases, but disease severity is going to depend on your soil moisture and your inoculum density. And in our field, it was devastating. Out of 240 plants, only 30 survived till the end of the season. So I wanted to talk to you about management of Fusarium. And the first strategy is a good crop rotation. Because Fusarium can live in the soil for 2 to 3 years, it's recommended that you have a 4-year rotation without any cucurbits in the field, and then use clean seed when you replant. As I mentioned previously, Fusarium can be either inside or outside of that seed. So while conventional growers can use a seed that's been treated with a contact fungicide like Thiram, that can only reduce the incidence of the disease on the outside of the seed, but it doesn't entirely prevent the transmission of Fusarium because the pathogen can remain viable inside that seed. While organic growers cannot use treated seed, they do have another option, and that is a hot water treatment. That can kill the fungus both on the inside and the outside of that seed. And that hot water treatment is going to be very specific. So you need to heat water to 131 degrees Fahrenheit and maintain it at that temperature for all 15 minutes while that seed is submerged in the water. Then you're going to remove the seed from the heat treatment and you're going to stick it in a cold bath to stop the heating, and then you're going to let it completely dry by spreading it out on a screen until you plant it. That treatment is very specific because if you treat for a higher temperature or a longer amount of time, you could kill your seed and make it non-viable. And if you treat at a lower temperature or for less time, it might not be as effective. Lastly, you want to remove infected plant debris and any associated soil out of the field. So not just put it towards the edge of the field, you want to get it entirely out of that field. Now I'm going to transition and talk about the varieties that we looked at in our trial. While we only had 30 plants that survived to maturity, amazingly enough, we had at least one plant of every variety, so I can show you what they look like at harvest. This is Ambermax, and it has this unique teardrop shape and this vibrant orange color with a little bit of whitish mottling and some white stripes coming up from the bottom. It had a full vine, and while it says here it's 90 days to maturity, I mentioned that we harvested all of these after 76 days. And that's often common. You'll see in catalogs a longer days to maturity than it will take in the South. And that's because a lot of those are grown in more northern climates where it takes longer to mature. This is a little 3-pound pumpkin, and it's from Seedway. The next variety is Cha-Cha, and this variety had the most plants that survived in the field in our trial. And it has the characteristic dark green kabocha color with white mottling and white stripes to it. It's another full vine and another 3 to 4 pound variety from Seedway. This is Delica. It looks very much like Cha-Cha, same size, also from Seedway. But you can see here on the right-hand side that the plant survival didn't do so well. All those empty holes where the plants already died, and the one remaining plant in that section has the characteristic Fusarium wilt. But this hybrid dates back all the way till 1964, so it's been around for a good long time. This is Geisha, and it had a very full vine, so I wanted to show you how far it spread in the bottom there. And it was the largest squash in our trial. It's advertised as a 7 to 8 pound squash. We found it to be about 5 to 6 in our trial. And unlike the other two that I just showed you, it's going to have a shinier finish when it gets mature and a lighter green color. And it's from NE Seed. This is Golden Buddha Bowl, and it has a compact bush, so it's good for smaller areas. It's going to be a 3 to 5.5 pound squash, and it's also from NE Seed and has this nice red, orange, vibrant color with dark green stripes in the sutures. Next, we have Shokichi Green. This is a little mini kabocha, so it's only going to be a 1/2 pound to about 1 1/4 pounds. It's from Johnny's, had a very vigorous vine, and it is going to have the characteristic dark green kabocha color. We had another mini in our trial, and it was Speckled Pup, and it had a semi-bush vine, and this one was slower to germinate than all the other varieties, but it eventually came on. And this one was also true to the advertised days to maturity. So it took a full 85 days for it to develop this nice dark orange color with the green stripes. And it's a little 1.5 to 2.5 pound squash, also from NE Seed. This is Sunshine. It's a nice, vibrant red-orange squash with a round, slightly flat shape. And it had a vigorous restricted vine. It's going to be about 3 to 5 pounds. It's another one from Seedway, and it is an All-American Selection winner. So if you're not familiar with All-American Selection winners, these are varieties of vegetables that are tested all across the US and have been found to perform well in a variety of locations. This is Sweet Mama. It was also an All-American Selection winner way back in 1979, and it had a compact vine. It has that traditional kabocha look, the dark green with the whitish mottling, and it is advertised as a 3.5 to 5 pound pumpkin. In our trial, it averaged about 2.5 pounds, and this could be due to the Fusarium, but it's another one from Seedway. Our last variety in the trial was Winter Sweet, and it had a vigorous vine, and we had to chase these across several plots to chase down these squash. But it has this beautiful blue-gray color to it, and it's a nice 4 to 5 pound pumpkin. And it was a pretty good yielder on the plants that were remaining in the field. While we can't give you real good yield data due to the destruction of the Fusarium in our field, and we didn't have enough fruit to do any storage on, I think this gives you a good idea of the variety of Kabocha squashes that are out there, different colors, shapes. And it also gives you real world of what can happen if you get Fusarium in your field. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please email me at annettew@utk.edu. And I wanted to thank you again for joining us for the virtual Organic Crops Field Day.